Hi everyone, this is Tom, and in this video, I want to talk about designing your perfect day. So, this is something I do again and again and again, trying to really squeeze out as much productivity as I can and make as much progress towards my goals as I possibly can. So, there's a few steps I want to talk about. In fact, there are 6 steps that I would suggest you go through to design your perfect productive day. So let's put the title in here, Productive Day. Okay, step one of designing your perfectly productive day is, I think, to define your bigger goals. So define your goals. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. So, first of all, you need to know what goals you're working towards. If you haven't clearly defined what's my goals for the next week, for the next month, for the next 3 months, you might not have a clear idea of what you're supposed to be doing in your productive day. There's no point having a productive day if you're not really working towards something. If you're just being productive for the sake of being productive, I don't think that's particularly productive. The only reason to be productive is that you want to achieve some sort of goal or some sort of outcome. So, having a clear idea in your head of what your goals are so you can design your productive day around your goals really helps. So, as an example, my goals at the moment are zero to finals, specifically sort of book writing and videos. Then there's these Tom Watchman videos. And I also want to get better at climbing. So they're my larger goals. And I kind of have a schedule of the things that I want to achieve along this way. And if you look at my weekly reviews, you'll see how I break down my goals and the things I want to achieve. But really, we're designing the perfectly productive day around these goals. And I'll show you how I do it. And you can hopefully adapt it for yourself. So that's the first step, defining your goals. Step number two is when you're coming to a day, what you want to do is choose or identify the most important slash challenging task that you need to do. And this is the thing that's going to get you this is kind of the one thing that's going to get you the most ahead. If you do this one thing, that's going to bring you closer to your goals than doing anything else. So, this is really the most important thing. And often, this is the thing that you put off. You kind of think, you procrastinate around this really important thing. What you really need to do is get that thing done. So, when you're defining your perfectly productive day, the first thing is figure out what is the most important thing. And so, for example, let's say I'm recording this on Wednesday, but this is really going to be uploaded on Friday. So we're talking about Thursday in this video. And so for Thursday, the most important thing I want to do on the Thursday is to um, write zero to finals content. So this is a challenging task. It's difficult. It strains my brain. I have to do lots of reading, lots of research, lots of collating information, writing it in a way that's nice and easy to understand. So I'm taking very complex stuff and trying to simplify it. It takes a lot of brain strain. And so this is the most challenging, most difficult thing. And this is what's going to bring me closer to my goal of producing zero to finals books and videos. So that's my goal for this day. That's the biggest thing. That's the most important task. So that's the first thing. Then number three is um, uh, decide when is your optimal time for difficult work. So if this is different for everybody. So for example, I'm very much a morning person. I like to get up really early and get to work straight away and do the hardest part of my day in the first half of the day. So I feel like my tank is the most full at that point. I've got the most energy, I've got the most discipline, I'm best able to avoid distractions and get the work done. So what that looks like for me is I have, say, 12 a.m., and then there's a timeline until 12 a.m. And so from about 6 a.m. until 1 p.m., 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is for me the most productive. And you can call this the golden hour or the golden period, shall we say. That's better than hour, I reckon. So this is really the best time of the day for getting stuff done. However, this might be different for you. You might be an evening person, or you might be a midday person. It really depends. Everybody's slightly different in this sense. And it's probably determined a little bit genetically. Some people are just, morning people, evening people. When is it that you find that you really can focus the best, avoid distractions, get sucked into work, really get in the flow? And this is really worth identifying and understanding. This might change over time. You might find that when you're a teenager, you're an evening person, but as you get older, you become more of a morning person. That's absolutely fine. But knowing when your golden period is really helps. Okay. So now number 4 is to figure out your free time. So, um, you will have lots of commitments in your day. So, particularly when you're working outside of trying to achieve your goals. So, let's say it's 12 a.m., 12 a.m., and this is 12 p.m., so this is midday. So, when I'm in general practice, which will be on a Thursday, we'll take this as my Thursday example. Um, I have actually intentionally set it up so that GP is in the afternoon from about 12 until 6 p.m. So during this 12 till 6 p.m., I'm in general practice. And so there's no way I can use this time to pursue other goals like zero to finals or climbing or whatever it is. So I'm stuck in this situation. I can't use this time. If you are very much an evening or afternoon person and you have some flexibility where you can move your work around, you might move your work to a different time of day. But for me, this is what I'm stuck with. So we have to work with this. Now, the number 5 is to start adding tasks to your day. Most important first. Okay, so you take your most important task, which in this situation, remember the golden task that I wanted to get done was my writing for zero to finals. So what I'm going to do is put this in here, and I want to define exactly where and when I'm going to do this task. So my most important thing is writing, and that's going to be the most challenging thing. So I'm going to book that in from 6 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. So that gives me a good sort of 3 hours of deep, solid work. That's probably the limit of what I'm going to be able to do when I add in the strain it's going to take for GP and making it sustainable over time. So I book this in and I know I'm going to be in a coffee shop and I'm going to be free from any distractions. That work that I need to get done is absolutely isolated in terms of time and space. Then I've got some other goals. So now I've got from, say, 10 a.m. once I get back from this coffee shop until before I need to go to GP. So if we put in here 10 a.m. to say 11 a.m., I'm going to book this for climbing. And this means I get to do my deep work and my difficult work at the most important and the best time of day for me, which is the writing. Then I get to squeeze in some climbing. Then I go to general practice and do my kind of compulsory employed work. And to get better at climbing, I want to add a bit of sort of a mobility routine. So I squeeze that in here, say 5 a.m. to 5:30 is a mobility routine. And then I get home. We need another color. Then I get home at about 6:30 or 7 p.m., say. And at that point, I take care of all the final kind of leftover tasks that I need to do. So this is sort of cooking, cleaning, washing, and then prep for the next day. So getting all my food in Tupperwares and getting everything ready so I can hit the ground running the next day. And that's kind of what my Thursday looks like. This routine is actually really intense. My Thursday is probably the longest, hardest day of the week. I try and squeeze as much as I can into Thursdays. Monday's quite busy as well, but the other days, this varies and looks a little bit more chill. There's more time to spend with my family and, getting other jobs done. It's not all as intense as this. But this is just an example of how to squeeze as much as you can out of a very busy day. So the final thing is the final point and the final tip is accepting you can't do everything. So you're going to be limited. We only have so much time, we only have so much energy, we only have so much resources in order to do the things that we want to do. You're not going to be able to do everything in life. Um, you're going to have other commitments. Big chunks of your time are going to be blocked off, like my GP work. On Friday, I work as a GP in the morning, which means that takes away my golden hour of getting deep work done. But it does mean I quite enjoy GP because I'm on top form on a Friday morning. But that limits me with what I can do. Maybe I can put a little bit of work in the afternoons, but generally Friday I don't really make any progress towards my goals. So always it's a case of balancing your commitments with what you want to achieve. And most of these big goals that you want to achieve, they're not going to be achievable in one day. You're going to have to find blocks of time day after day after day to gradually build on them until you get that, say, 50 or 100 hours or even 1,000 hours worth of work done that you need to achieve those big goals. This is just an example of my day. Your day might look completely different, but they're the principles I would suggest you stick to. And firstly, having a clear idea of the big goals you're working towards. What is it you want to do? That way, that's the first step because no point having a productive day if it's not directed towards something you've clearly defined. Choosing the most important and the most challenging task to do as the top priority. If you always pick and attack the hardest task and the most important task, you'll make great progress, even if you just do one thing per day. you make great progress. Number three is clearly defining when your optimal time is. What's your golden hour for getting that most difficult stuff done? Then figuring out what free time you have to play with, and then start adding tasks to your schedule, starting with the most important and most difficult, really putting that in as the top priority. You can then start squeezing other things around it. And finally, accepting you can't do everything and it's going to take time and you need to be patient. And if you keep at it, things will get done. Hope that video was helpful and I'll see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow.